Just ask if the audio is fine.
Shuparno, am I audible? Is the audio fine?
Yeah, you're audible, but your camera placement is a little wonky. You are too much, now getting out of the frame.
Okay.
वापस जाइए हाँ और थोड़ा बस now you look at the camera straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you speak, you'll have to look at the camera, not in your laptop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, welcome everyone. Good evening. Hello, hi. Welcome to the next session of Environmentally Speaking, a CSE Gen lecture series. My name is Sakshi, and I'm very, very delighted to welcome you all to this session on State of India's Biodiversity. So before we start the session, I would just like to know how many of you know about GEN or are already members of the GEN network. We'll start with a quick poll. You can start with just responding to these questions on the poll, and then we can proceed with the session. You should be seeing a few questions on your screen, 3 questions in all. Please respond to those questions and we can move on. We just like to understand whether you are existing GEN members or you are joining us for the very first time. Welcome to those who have joined us just now. I'm just waiting for you to respond to the questions that I have posted on the poll. You just need to tell us whether you are a GEN member and whether today's topic, that is biodiversity, is a part of the curriculum that you teach. So we've got 3 responses so far. I'll just wait for about 30 seconds more and then we'll move on. So I can see that there are quite a few of you who are not GEN members yet. And in fact, this was one of the common questions that we got during the registration, that what is the GEN network? What role does it play in environmental science education? So GEN network is CSE's network of green educators. We call it GEN. It stands for Green Educators Network. And it is a network of college educators who are teaching courses related to environmental science in colleges across the country. So if you want to know more, we'll put a small link for our website in the chat box. You can visit the website. You can find out details about the GEN network. And if you want to stay updated about the sessions that we organize next month onwards, because these are monthly sessions, and all the other activities, resources that we have, you can register for the network. We'll also put the registration link in the chat box. So I'm going to end the poll now. And I can see that about 30% of you are already GEN members. And most of you, 75%, do teach biodiversity in some form or the other. So let's now move on to the session for today. In its very simple form, biodiversity is the variety and variability of life on Earth. So it refers to the variation at the genetic level, the species level, the ecosystem level. And I'm sure all of us are aware that it is crucial for our survival. Apart from its intrinsic value, which basically means that all species have a right to exist and survive and a value of their own. So biodiversity also provides benefits like material welfare, security of communities, and resilience to local economies. In the years 1800, between the years 1800 to 2022, the Earth saw a total of 55 genera extinctions. Without humans, researchers estimate that this would have been limited to only 2 genera, which is shocking, right? So humans have fueled the surge in extinctions in the last 5 decades, and losing a genus could impact the entire ecosystem. Today, we have with us Vibha, who is an expert on the subject and who would be delving deeper into it with us. She's a consultant with Center for Science and Environment. She has over 23 years of experience as a journalist and a writer with the organization. She enjoys delving into the linkages between society, science, and environment, and writes frequently on health, food, and biodiversity, among others. She has conceptualized Center for Science and Environment's first food series, which connects the dots between biodiversity, nutrition, health, and livelihood. The latest book in the series, which was launched recently on 12th March, you can check it out on the website, on the CSE store as well, if you're interested. She holds a PhD in botany and loves spending time around plants. Welcome, Vibha.
Thank you.
So, without further ado, over to you.
Thank you, Sakshi, for inviting me to talk on this very important subject. So, could you share my slides?
Yeah.
So, as Sakshi mentioned, biological diversity indicates a variability among the living organisms. So, the problem here is we do not actually know how many species or how many genera are there on the earth. Researchers have come up with a wide-ranging estimate for how many species are present on the earth. One of the most widely used figure is from a paper in PLOS Biology, which was published in 2011 and puts down the number to be somewhere around 8.7 million species. But before that, in 1995, United Nations Environment Program, or the UNEP, estimated that there were some 14 million species on the earth, out of which only 1.7 million were actually described. The IUCN Red List tracks down the number of species on the earth, and they track down the described species on the earth. And in 2021, they listed somewhere around 2.1 million species on the planet. And there are many, many more such similar estimates. What is safe to say is that we do not actually know the exact number. Can I have the next slide? But even when we do not know the data on biodiversity, that does not mean that we do not know about its uses, and we don't have the knowledge about how these can be used. We are dependent on biodiversity for food, medicine, and livelihood, among many other things. For example, members of the Irula tribe in Tamil Nadu have the knowledge about how to catch snakes, deadly snakes, and removing their venom. This knowledge is very useful in manufacture of antidote to snake bites, which can save lives. In India, snake bites cost more than 58,000 deaths each year. So it's a very important knowledge and a skill to have. Similarly, in South Africa, the leaves of a shrub called rooibos are used to prepare a tea which is rich in antioxidants and can boost immunity. It can reduce risk to heart diseases and can protect from viral infections and also provide anti-aging benefits. So this rooibos, or Asplanthus linearis, is endemic to the area, and the San and Khoi tribes that have lived in that area for centuries hold the knowledge of how to use this shrub. Similarly, like Sakshi mentions, Center for Science and Environment has documented such endemic plants. Like Sakshi mentions, Center for Science and Environment has documented such endemic plants. Like Sakshi mentions, Center for Science and Environment has documented such endemic plants. Like Sakshi mentions, Center for Science and Environment. So we have come out with a series of books called the First Food series, in which we
So,
talk about
we have come out with a series of books called the First Food series, in which we talk about. We have come out with a series of books.
So there are 4 volumes of these in the series, and the latest, The Future of Taste, was just released very recently.